I want to get some video of this beehive that unfortunately I have to remove because it's in a location where these bees could potentially harm somebody. And this is actually up in the attic of the old original farmhouse here. These are basically holding this up against the slant of the roof. And that basically on the other side of that hive is the exterior wall of the house. And I'm well aware of bees' importance to the ecosystem and reproduction of plants and flowering. But this thing just, unfortunately, it has to go. And I'm sure I'm going to get a bunch of shit in the comments, which I might just block. And I deserve it. I can't just really spray it with some kind of poison and then leave it, because that thing is full of honey, and if I get rid of the bees, then the ants will take over. I really hate to get rid of it, especially since I want to grow a lot of my own produce here on this land. But it's not worth the risk of somebody getting hurt. The old knob and tube wiring from the 30s. Okay, we're gonna slurp some of them up with a shop vac here. Okay, the bees have pretty much moved out. The whole hive seems to have moved out. They couldn't handle the vacuum cleaner. So look at the damage they've done. The hive is right behind here. I'm going to try and pull this piece of wood off and see if I can get it out. The ants have started going after the honey. Here's the hive from the outside.
With the purchase of a Berkey light, the Berkey guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off.
This hive is really thick. It must be a foot thick. It's just layer after layer after layer, and I'm scraping it out. And it just... I'm over a foot down in there, and I'm finally starting to get down into where the honey is. I don't even know if you can see it anymore. I'm more like 15 inches. That's how we're tasting the honey. And it tastes like honey. Trying to get some that's clean here. God, it just keeps going. I'm like 2 feet up in there now.
Can you? Oh, there it is.
Okay, close it. Okay, it's still going, and you can kind of see how big it is here. I'm probably close to, that's probably close to 3 feet in there, that little one right there. And we're trying to save the honey. I got a sticky mess running down everywhere. Here's the hive. It's basically a condo complex of these wax wafers. And here's what I saved that seems to have a lot of good honey in it. This box here. Yeah. This bag. This was excess honey that I scraped off the ceiling with a putty knife. Here's having a look in the attic. You can see how deep the hive went, all the way to where that board starts there, which would be equal to where that wall starts right there. I got as much of it as I possibly could. Get the ants will clean the rest up. What we're going to do is we're going to crush this up in the bag. I'm going to pause the camera, crush it up in the bag, and then I'm going to set it in the strainer. This is going to be a very slow process. But this screen is very fine too, so I doubt we'll have to filter it again after this. The mesh on the screen is very thin. This is a very slow process, but it is coming along. I have these 2 bags right here ready to be strained and then filtered, and I have this pretty big bag right here that's, I have it hanging so all the stuff will move down to the bottom. The wall has been all put back together and resealed, sealed with expanding foam. You can see there's a bee trying to get in there. It's kind of interesting. No way, buddy. Not going to find anything except expanding foam in there. Once this hardens, I'll clean it up and paint it. I'm at about 1 liter or 3.5 cups of honey now, and I've got about half this much more, so I got about 1.5 liters out of that hive of honey, and it tastes pretty good. It needs to be filtered through a couple more times. As you can see, there's a little bit of wax still sticking to the screen. After we filter it a couple more times through the screen, I'll go through some cheesecloth or some type of finer filter.